Nicomas, can you hear us?
Yes, yes, I can.
Are we loud and clear?
Yep. Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm not there in person. We had an emergency surprise trip to the cities.
Well, you're here and that's important. Good, Chelsea. You got a quorum.
Is you, she's the vice president, right? Isn't that?
Oh, are you?
Yeah, when
Then you go. I
yeah,
thought
when
you
when
were
the
vice chair.
president's not
You're vice
here,
chair. Go, girl.
it's her.
I am having a little bit of problems making out the discussion.
Is this live?
That
Mhm.
is this the microphone?
It is.
Okay. How about now?
That's a little better, yeah.
Better?
Put it right next to her chairperson meeting.
Okay, so we have a quorum meeting, calling the meeting to order at 5:07. Do a quick roll call. Bianca, present. Nokomis,
Is she American? So here.
I'm sorry, I'm muting myself and I forget that I'm muted. Present.
thank you. Victoria Fine
Excused.
Leslie Bellinger,
Excused.
Chelsea Jordan.
Here,
You go by Jordan or Jordan?
Jordan.
Okay, 'cause everyone does it two different ways.
Yeah.
Guest,
Rochelle and Sylvia. Is Nate coming to do a song?
not working at the report. Is it?
No, it's on this one. I was after to be here. He said, yeah, is he on site?
He's not on site.
Yeah, I'm you.
Parent song.
Chelsea on pipe. It's okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna just be quiet here.
Just wait for her to say mine. I didn't bring mine.
That would be quick one.
That's it.
I know issue. I've got the feed that I do, but I'm be like, be with Jesus, be with Jesus, be groovy.
Yeah.
Alright. I'll talk about it later, Sylvia.
Is that done?
Yeah.
That's your dancing about to have them come in and sing.
I just gave that to them.
Oh, okay.
She's right. Yeah, quick.
All right.
Miigwech, Sema King, Miigwech, Ada Zukanag, Dago Widu Kawishin or Geo Jube Moyan, Miigwech, Wabnang, Miigwech Yawanang, Nangavianang, Gawadanang, Miigwech, Oasiag, Aki, Gizis, Debiki Gizis, Miigwech Nibikong, Miigwech. As you were back Aquashin, Miigwech Gabi Buniked. Miigwech.
Oh,
Miigwech.
Okay. Mission and vision. Mission. The mission is to prepare each student for college with an enhanced knowledge of the Ojibwe language, culture, leadership, and environmental stewardship. The vision at Endazhi-Nitaawiging is the vision is to create confident leaders grounded in their true inherent identities and to ensure that they are academically, socially, and spiritually prepared to positively change the community and world. So now to the agenda approval for today. A motion to approve the agenda for the working board meeting.
I'm sorry. That's supposed to say December. Sorry. December 17th.
A motion to approve the agenda for the working board meeting agenda of December 17th, 2025 as presented.
I make a motion.
Oh, second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we get a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay. And now we open for public comment. You want me to just read that whole thing too?
There's nobody in it. If there's no public, we could just, but I think.
And next is new business review regular board agenda for no.
Darn, sorry, guys, sorry. December 17th, sorry.
Review regular board agenda for December 17th, 2025. Nicole, do you have access to that?
I'm trying to flip back and forth between the files and the meeting.
Okay.
Well, Sylvia's not here. You want me to just run through what I have on the agenda real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. Under new business, item 8, it's just to approve the working board minutes of the last regular working board. B is approve the regular board minutes of November 19th. Item C is to approve the school audit as presented. That means our auditors, I put them highest on the agenda of the regular board as I can. They need to do a presentation here in December. It's so important to have this. We have to have this audit board approved before December 31st. So so they'll do the presentation. He's going to be online and he's just going to do the presentation. Okay. Next one is to approve the finance report. The only other thing that was added, like last time, we talked about the new template that our authorizers want us to use following Exhibit R sample. They also asked us to include a copy of deposits. So at the end, at the very back of the new financial report, you'll see a printout of the monthly deposits for November. So that's the only other thing on that one. That did go through the finance committee. And so if there was a couple of questions on there, and our business manager will be at the regular board meeting if there's other questions for that. Did you want to take over? I'm on E.
Okay, you can go ahead.
Yeah, on item E, one of the things that we had to do that we submitted last time was a succession for board. The last board, we had one individual board member who was doing 3 officer positions, and they never did open it up for nominations for other officers. Our authorizers want us to have a succession plan that specifically states that at every opportunity, each officer position will be held by an individual board member. Right now, our board chair is holding 2 positions. She is our chair, and she's also treasurer. So we need to open up nominations for treasurer. We'll accept nominations. The next item will be to close nominations. And then the third item on there is to approve the nominations and those who accept it. So, and that will make sure that every board member, that every officer position on the board has a different member doing that position. And then that's part of our board succession plan that got sent into our authorizers. Then we're down to item
Vicky did
8.
talk to me about that a little bit too. I'd seen
Yeah,
her.
so you will be nominated.
Yeah, I figured that. Yeah.
And thank you for that discussion and for your pre-approval on that. Item H is a motion to approve the probationary extension for the head of school until January 30th. Right now, our head of school probation area ends, was a 6-month, would have put her at the end of December. The board chair wanted to extend that for another 30 days. She wants to review the audit that's going to be presented tonight. And then she also wants to review where we are on our our deficiencies and required documentation. So she wants the board to review those kinds of things, and then we'll do the evaluation in January. So she's asking the board to extend head of school's probationary period for a month. So that's on the agenda. Motion to create a petty cash fund not to exceed $2,500. In the packet, you will see I included in the bylaws the area that says that the board may approve the executive director or the director to oversee a petty cash fund. At this time, we do not have one, but we can do that, but it's up to the board, and you'll see when we get there what the bylaws say is up to the board to set the amount. We are recommending the amount to be 2,500 because you'll see the next two items are donations that would that will equal just underneath those things that we'd want to put in petty cash. Petty cash then can address things like we would take out cash for our like to buy postage stamps, or to allow our custodians to go to the laundromat and do our cleaning rags and our mop heads and things like that. So petty cash should be used for those things. And then if you want to, I can always look up other things that you can use the petty cash for, but it's not for travel, or it's not for, it's kind of for those things that would take a lot to get pre-approved and sent through we have a new procurement process. So, okay. So that's what we're asking on that one. Item J is motion to accept the donation. We have a donation of $2,000 just to be used for whatever we want it to. We have another one on item K from the Mennonite Church out of Orville. Again, they raise funds in their church just to give our school $300, and that too we would just put in petty cash. And then item L is to approve a grant that's Growing Justice Fund. We were awarded, and you'll see in the packet, there's a letter and email letting the school know that they had approved this grant for $225,000. The only stipulation, I know, woo-hoo, right? So the only stipulation on this is that because of our charitable status, we need to list the tribe as as a place that they would send this to, and we do have a sub account. So I have reached out to Vernell just to make sure that that's okay. So, and then to give us if she wants a check or if she wants ACH. If she wants ACH, we'll need documentation from her for this grant. So really, it's just a matter of accepting the grant. And then how Vernell wants it in check, or if she wants it ACH. And then item M is to approve the internal control framework as presented. Our authorizers and also this board is asking for internal controls on how we use our debit card, how we do pre-authorization for those kinds of things. So we did include a format for that, and that also has to be approved, and that has to be sent to our authorizers by the end of the month. Old business, when I went through the audio today under old business, I saw that the working board, or that the other board did not approve the working board minutes of October 15th or the regular board minutes of October 15th. I believe they were in the packet. I don't know why they weren't approved, but anyway, so they were tabled. So those are our old business. Approve the October working board minutes and the regular board minutes. And that is our agenda. Questions on any of that we can help with, or
What was the Growing Justice grant for?
that will take care of, it'll give us monies for a greenhouse, food sovereignty, kind of growing our own kinds of things like that. It would help with our kitchen things, and I don't have the exact list. I don't have the whole grant, but
The whole grant.
yeah.
I can get that.
I think I have a copy of the grant, but when I tried to get into it, I needed the username and password. So Wendy's the one who wrote the grant, so she's got access. Do you want me to have her send that the grant itself? What do you think?
That's a lot of money.
They can only be spent on what's within the grant, so it's not like we can redirect it. So
Does any of it overlap with what we're already getting for the summer outdoor stuff, like the the trees and the bushes that we're supposed to be putting?
No,
in?
not the landscaping stuff. This is more of a kind of a garden, a grow, find a greenhouse kind of
Wasn't that
garden.
the other one?
The sulfate,
Like that
yep.
too?
The public trust for land grant is finished with phase 2. So all of our trees are here, they're planted, all of our trails are put in. The
Wasn't
only,
that one, didn't it have like 200 fruiting, 100 fruiting trees and 200 bushes, berry bushes to be planted?
Do you want me to see?
I think part of that,
That one, that.
which grant was that one?
Um,
Was that trust for public land?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I don't know which grant that is.
Oh, you
Have
didn't
you
have
put
the
in
scope?
for it?
No, the Wendy wrote it though, and then it said the teachers.
Yeah. Is that part of this one?
That's why I was wondering. If
Oh,
anyone
okay.
asked.
We, no, we didn't get, we applied for one, it was on our last agenda. We didn't get that one, the Robert Wood Foundation. We didn't get that one. We got notification last week, I think. We weren't approved for that one, so it might be under that one.
I think it was approved already. That one,
We're-
last summer,
The capital grant?
maybe. It was-
Capital grant is for kitchen renovation and stand room renovation.
Yeah, that's the one, that's the other one that Wendy wrote. That's the MDE one for the capital renovations. And then that's different than the
And
playground
Chromebooks,
grant
yeah.
and the landscaping. There's the playground grant where we did the playground and the landscaping. This grant here will also cover, my understanding is that will also cover some outdoor kitchen stuff, you know, like food sovereignty and processing foods and harvesting and, you know, those kinds of things. That's my understanding. I'll go ahead and while you guys finish up this, I'll go ahead and get a hold of Wendy and see if she can't just send it over.
Just have it in the documents package.
Sure.
It's the grant, if we're gonna approve
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
Should we know what we're spending it on?
Yeah, what I did put in there was a copy of the email saying that we got it. There's the email saying what it's for.
What do you think, Bianca?
Usually there's attachments to like present items, so I just figured it would be in there.
Well, you know, let me see if I can't go find it.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll see. All right.
I think it'd be good to have it in the package.
Oh, I think so
Yeah.
too. I think so too. You should know what it's for.
I just saw it, I saw,
You saw the email?
I just saw it, I didn't see
Oh,
the grant, that's why I
Yeah.
asked.
If she can't find it, I can probably find it too. But we are working on phase 3 with the trust for public land, but that focus would be outdoor kitchen. So we're still seeking funds to do that, so.
Okay, I swear the grant narrative was like, these teachers are going to put this into play, but I remember reading. It was, 100 fruiting trees, there's chickens written on there and it was approved. And we did get the funds for it. I remember asking, I was like, who's doing this?
She wrote a grant for chickens and it wasn't approved. It might have been the First Nations. We weren't approved for it.
We weren't?
We weren't approved for First Nations. And that was written last year. Yeah.
Okay,
And that was a chicken coop and and then she was
All-
talking about the trees
all the
and,
trees and the
yeah,
bushes.
yep. And that one wasn't approved. Yeah. And that was last year. Yeah. And that was First Nations Institute. Which we're like, what? How can we not be approved? That's First Nations, a pretty good one, pretty easy one to get. Let's see, we have 5 minutes. Do you want me to go through like my packet a little bit or? And save some time on the regular agenda? So on my packet, I'm just gonna go into my section really fast so we can.
There's a question in the chat.
Oh,
I was just asking if you can enable screen share, so when I present, I can share my screen.
okay, so
You have
we,
to allow him to screen share.
Okay, so Andrew, we're finishing up on the working board session, and then at 5:30 we'll go into the board meeting.
Oh, because we're not.
And then I'll go and change the proxy so that you can share.
Just think, I always have that up. I wish I would do multiple screens. I think she's got access to the thing. This one's fine.
Yeah, we don't have access to them.
No, we're not the host.
Okay. Just what's fun, Grant?
Is there any way to turn the microphone up a little bit more or any? Because when you guys are conversing, it's really hard to hear the conversation.
I found the grant and I just emailed it to you. Okay.
Says it's on.
Is that any better? Oh, now you're mute.
A little bit, yeah. It's just like when there's conversation happening, it's really hard for me to hear.
Okay. And I'm gonna move you a little bit closer too, so that that picks up it, but, I just emailed you the grant and what it's for, so, if you want, I can just run through it real quick. Let's see. About security, project goals, it's a 2-year. Hire a food sovereignty coordinator, construct a greenhouse, hoop houses, outdoor kitchen, launch some curriculum units for K-7. Actually, probably should be K-8. Establish procurement agreements with native producers, integrate the greenhouse hoop house production into cafeteria meals. Kind of like, this sounds to me, it's kind of like a, what do they call it? Farm to school, kind of a thing like that. So, and so those are the things I know
Garden to
that.
table.
Yeah, and then this is, I know in this grant, 55,000 is set aside to hire a person to oversee the grant and to do the activities requested. So, if the board approves this, we'll be looking to hire a person for that amount. Does that help?
What an awesome opportunity.
Oh, yeah, looking for work?
Recruitment.
I know, just
You know
really.
of somebody.
There you go. All right. Any other questions that I can help with on this agenda? Sylvia, I'm gonna leave it to you and I'll go sit over there and I'm available if you have questions.
5:29, if you move into the next one.
Yep, so you need to adjourn? God, Michelle, just, I'll see them. Okay, I'm out of here. Oh, no, we got-
So we do have a family night for the ones that are present after our family night.
Motion to adjourn the meeting at 5:30.
Do we need a second?
We need a motion and a second.
I'll second.
Oh, I'll make a motion.
Wait, so wait, Bianca or who?
I did not, I requested one.
Okay. And then I'll second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I
That's the first time we've ever been done right at 5:30.
I know this was on. Okay. And then we can start.
putting Wes to work out there. He's doing the microphone.
So you probably have to open up that new link, the board link.
There's a different link.
I think it's the same,
Is it the same link?
I think it just run.
Yep.
I didn't see a second link online.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it's the
okay,
same one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So auditor should be jumping in pretty
Are
quick.
they still on?
I think he was on there with.
Oh, good, okay.
Is there a way to like have it so we can see everyone?
The 5 participants.
I'm sure he'll be sharing his screen, so.
Oh, yeah, Amy and him.
Oh, right there. Where's the?
Are you taking
Oh, there you go.
Are you taking notes?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were on there. Okay, calling the meeting to order at 5:32 PM. Roll call, Bianca, present, Nokomis,
Here, present.
Victoria Finde, excused. Leslie Bellinger, excused. Chelsea Jordan,
Here.
and then guess. Is that other one on just as the host? Or is there a staff member on the other, Endazhi?
That's, yeah, that's just the main link to record.
Okay, mission and vision. The mission is to prepare each student for college with an enhanced knowledge of the Ojibwe language, culture, leadership, and environmental stewardship. At Endazhi, or the vision, at Endazhi-Nitaawiging, the vision is to create confident leaders grounded in their true inherent identities and to ensure that they are academically, socially, and spiritually prepared to positively change the community and world. Okay. So 3, agenda approval. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for the regular board meeting of December 17th, 2025 as presented?
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Public comment. Welcome to this meeting of the school board here at Endazhi-Nitaawiging. We are extremely pleased that you have shown an interest in our school affairs by attending this meeting. The school board allows public participation at its meeting, but at the same time has the responsibility for conducting its business in an orderly fashion. We will provide the audience with an opportunity to request to speak. We request that before you speak to announce your name. Each speaker will be allowed 5 minutes unless the time limit is waived by a majority of the board members present. At a public meeting of the board, no person shall orally initiate charges or complaints against individual employees of the district or challenge instructional materials used in the district. All such charges, if presented to the board directly, shall be referred to the executive director of Endazhi-Nitaawiging for investigation and report. We would also like to remind the public that the school board is not allowed to comment on your concerns. If there are no questions, we will open the public comment section of the board meeting. Could you guys hear that? You're scared. Okay, so now we're getting into the reports. There's a presentation by Smith Schaefer on the Schaffer? How do you say that? Schaefer on school audit. Yeah.
Thanks for having me tonight. Is everybody able to see my screen that I'm sharing?
We can see it.
All right, so tonight, we will walk through this PowerPoint. We completed the audit, for the school for the year ended June 30th, 2025. Tonight we'll walk through the results of those audits. It is, this PowerPoint takes the highlights from the actual audited financial statement that we did sit down with management with last week and went through the actual financial in more detail. Tonight we'll kind of hit some of the highlights and the results of that meeting. So if there's any questions, please feel free to stop me as we're going through here. With that, I'll just kind of jump into our audit results. So our audit opinion is going to be a clean, unmodified opinion, which means we believe everything is fairly stated in accordance with GAAP. Is materially correct. Our audit opinion provides reasonable but not absolute assurance that the district's financials are free from material misstatement. They are not absolute, as we do not look at every single transaction that occurred throughout the year. We take a risk-based approach and make selections based off those perceived risks. That said, also included in our audit is the Minnesota legal compliance. There's a letter in the back that's is required. There's about 7 different areas of testing that we have to make sure that the school is complying with. We did not note any exceptions with our testing related to legal compliance. Also as part, since the charter schools are required to be yellow book audits by the state of Minnesota, we have to provide a letter of internal control within your financial statement. We did note one finding related to your internal controls on the letter that is noted in the financial statement. That is improper control over cash disbursements. So when we are doing some expenditure testing, we did not, there was some missing support for some of the documentation, the items that were selected. So just making sure that anything that is spent with schools funds is for meets the public purpose and for the actual school. And then there was also some gift cards that were purchased, and gift cards are not allowed to be purchased for schools. The reason for that is as a Minnesota charter school, you have to meet public purpose, and when those funds are spent for gift cards, we don't know what they're actually being spent on, as once you buy the gift cards, that kind of loses all of its control. You guys approve the purchase of the gift cards, but not necessarily what is being purchased with the gift cards. So just making sure that we're not purchasing any more gift cards out related to that. And then there is an audit committee letter that just says there is some use of estimates in your financial statements, such as net pension liabilities. We didn't have any disagreements with management, and we requested management representation to provide all information to us, and they signed that letter stating that they had provided everything to us. Next, we look at your average daily membership for the 3 years that the school has been around. So we look at your average daily membership just because so much of this derives the number of or the amount of revenue and expenditures that you are expected kind of use throughout the year. So since 2023, we started with 59 ADMs a year up to about 105,000, so up about 46 ADMs in those 3 years, with the first ones in 7th through 12th grade this year in 2025. So the school is growing, I believe, getting up to the allotted amount that their accreditor will allow them to be at. Next, we look at revenues across the funds here. So you're broken down into 3 main categories. You have your state aids in the beginning, first grouping there. So your state aids brings in just under $1.8 million, up about $555,000 from the prior year. So being up those ADMs, up that 16 ADMs from the prior year brought in additional general education aid of about $290,000. There was some special education aid in the current year of about $188,000. Then there was the Indian education from the state of Minnesota that we were awarded this year for about $73,000. And then there was the after school learning grant for about $95,000. So all of those were increases in revenues. Your federal aids remain relatively flat, with the largest portion of that is being the ANA grant, about 323,000 of that, about 390,000 coming in from the state. The remainder coming in from Title I funds and federal special education aid. And then on the far right is the other category, which is the second largest funding source, just under 790,000, down about 160,000 from the prior year. Most of that is due to the SOUR grant that was received in the prior year. And then there's also 2 years of the donations coming back for the lease aid in 24 that was recognized. So both those reasons for the grant other category being down, but in total revenues up about 388,000. Again, the largest majority of that's due to the additional students being in the school. Different way of looking how the school is funded. About 60% of the funding comes through the state, 27% through grants and other contributions, about 13% through federal. A little bit different than 2024 as the state continues to be larger, more and more percentage of the funding sources coming through. Next, we look at your expenditures going across all the different funds here for the 3 years of operations. The darker blue on the far right is going to be the 2025 numbers. So administration spends just over 400,000 in administration, up about 80,000. Most of that increase is going to be in from salaries and some fees for service. Supporting services in the second one was up about 68,000 related to some salaries. The largest expenditure for the school is going to be the third group in there, the regular instruction. So this is the amount that goes back into educating the students and paying the teachers for the most part. Up about 235,000. Again, the largest portion of that was salaries being up about 250,000 with salaries and benefits included in there. Special ed, we saw an increase in some salaries of about 86,000. The other categories were pretty consistent year over year. Sites and buildings was up as we saw a little increase in some utility costs was the main driver for those expenditures being up. So the total expenditures for the year were up about 512,000, just under $3 million worth of expenditures for the year. Next, we look at your cash balances in the general fund. So your cash balances as of June 30th, 2025, 135,000. That's up 115,000 from the prior June. The main reason for that increase is you're able to collect some of that. The old AR, the AR was down about 100,000, so that just moved from accounts receivable and into your actual cash account. Cash position was pretty strong at year end. General fund activities, this again here. So the revenues in the blue, expenditures in the gold color, and then change in fund balance in either the red or the lighter blue. So as I mentioned, the revenues in the blue are up to 388,000 related to the additional gen ed and special ed coming in. Expenditures were up about 512,000. The largest portion of that increase was salaries were up 436,000, and then the remainder of that was related to some payroll or some taxes related to those. So the school did operate at a slight deficit this year of about 11,000. But pretty much on the break even for the school for the year. So when we look at where those fund balances are held, so the blue is going to be your unassigned fund balances. So these are amounts that are not restricted and available to be spent however the school feels fit within the guidelines of following public purpose in Minnesota state statutes. About 137,000, that's down about 23,000 from the prior year. So one metric that is used to determine the health of a school is if you take your total current expenditures and divide it by your fund balance, you get a percentage of how much of your reserves are on hand. So right now you're at about 4.6% reserves. Prior year about 6.5%, so down about 2%. Some of that's just due to the higher expenditures for the year and then the slight decrease in the fund balance. The gold is some restricted fund balances. There's some restricted revenue sources coming in from the state that are assigned or must be spent on specific purpose. So there's some library aid and student support personnel in the gold color that are totaled about 51,000, up about 11,000 from the prior year. These next slides are going to take your total expenditures by those categories and divide them by your average daily membership of 105 to get a per ADM cost. So it just gives you an idea of how much you're spending per student on the different functions of the school and running the different operations of the school. The darker blue in the middle is going to be other charter schools that we average. So those that Smith Schaefer audits. So those average ADMs from about 80 to about 140 students. So you guys are kind of right in the middle there. So that's going to be your closest comparison. The state also provides next to that in the blue from the second from the right is districts with ADMs of 0 to 500, and then the state average in the far right. So right now the school on district and administration and support services spends about $7,400 per ADM. That's up about $260,000 from the prior year. Even with those increased ADMs, we still seeing some additional costs going into this category. So a little bit higher than districts of a similar size and our other charter schools as well, but pretty consistent year over year on how much is being spent per ADM. Regular instruction, school spends a little over $13,200 per ADM, up about $150 per ADM from the prior year. The other charter schools spend right around $6,000, and then the districts of similar size spend about $7,800. So the school is spending amounts back into educating the students and getting those teachers salaries and are getting paid and going into education for the children. Special education spend just under $3,000 per ADM. That amount's slowly been creeping up year over year. Spent about $400 more per ADM. This one's below the other charter schools that we do audit, about 4,300. Again, it's not the best metric, as some of the schools have different missions and purposes of educating different targeted kids, but it just is a benchmark to let the school know where they are at. And pupil support services spend about $1,300 on different transportation counselors and health services. Down a little bit from the prior year with additional ADMs, we were able to spread out some of those costs and keep costs relatively flat. So the general fund in total spends about $28,000 per ADM, up about $500 from the prior year per ADM, about $7,300 more than other charter schools that Smith Schaefer audits, and about $11,000 more than districts of similar size. So even with that, the school, just a reminder, that are spending a lot, but they are pretty much operating on the break even. So there is not a whole lot of concerns there. You are spending a lot, but you're able to bring in additional revenues to help cover a lot of those costs. Then there's a summary there. The general fund expenditures exceeded revenues by about $12,000 for this year. The unassigned general fund balance of $137,000 or 4.6% of the current year expenditures. Any questions on that or anything that I can go back and clarify that you want me to look at again? I know I went through those pretty quickly. But...
Is this including the monies that, like we just got the grant and we get money from the tribe? Is this including the summary here, including that funding source?
Yep, that'd fall in this other category here. There's no other questions. I just want to thank you guys for your time, and we'll get the finalized copy of the actual audit sent up to the state and up to you guys for your records. And then we should be able to close this and start on the 990 to get that issued as well for the school.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Finance report. Who's doing that?
Amy?
Did you review it at the finance committee meeting on Monday?
Review.
The finances.
Oh,
These
yeah,
reports. Okay.
yeah. I'm sorry, what?
Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry.
Okay, I guess let me pull that up. I was thinking it was just,
It looks like it was reviewed December 15th and their information is attached.
okay. Were there any comments or questions, concerns on that packet?
I just interject something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So, Amy, it's Rochelle. I just wanted to thank you for that extra piece of documentation that's needed, those deposit registers for our
Okay.
prices. That was a lot of extra work for you, and and we'll need them going forward. So I just wanted to take a minute and tell you thank you for that.
Good, good. I'm glad that that was acceptable. Okay. Let me think. I can start on just do a quick overview here. Let's see. Do you want to pull up like the cash flow report? Start with that one.
My main takeaway from the meeting on Monday was that we're operating a little bit over budget right now and that we really have to watch our expenditures.
Correct. Yeah, I would say the cash is a little low right now at this point, and that's just kind of a, it's a, depending on how things, depending on timing, really, how things come in and out. But yeah, I think, and I think that's fairly typical for the fall. It's earlier in the school year and there's more spending going on. But yeah, you're correct. I think it's something to keep an eye on for the remainder of the year. We'll just have to make sure we get those grant dollars applied for so we can take advantage of all those programs.
So Amy, could I just interject? I'm not even on this board, I'm sorry. So one of the things is that we received a large sum from our third-party billing, and we used some of those funds to pay for some of those grant purchases that are reimbursable. I think we're expecting those reimbursements to come in January. Is that accurate? So then this fund balance would go up a little bit.
Right. Yeah. And that's just it. Yeah. I think that's the thing with a lot of our grant programs is they're all reimbursable. So we're kind of spending the money up front and then we kind of have to wait for the funding to come in after we submit for reimbursement. So yeah.
Was that 9,921 no cents or 99?
For the state aid receipt?
Yeah.
So on your report, Amy,
There's just an extra zero.
Sylvia had to step out, so I'm just gonna kind of be the ex officio
Sure.
here for a minute. On the cash flow, on the summary report, on the narrative that you
Yes.
said, it
Yeah.
says 99,9210. Or you're saying 92,000.
Oh, whoops. Yeah. That's a little high. Yep. Let me really quick here.
On that decimal point.
Yes. Yeah. 99. Well, yeah. 99,000. Correct.
So just an extra zero there is not supposed to be there?
99,921.
Unfortunately, yeah. 89,921. That would be nice, but no, yeah. So it's just 99,921. And that kind of shows it on the cash flow report. If you look at that first column that says fiscal 25-26 state aid, the November 1st to the 15th plus the November 16th through the 30th is where those come from.
correction. I haven't done.
Oh, yeah, I saw it in the finance committee.
Hmm?
You know, Amy ready to- oh,
Who's the lead in the finance committee?
I think it's Amy, are you on?
I'm here. Yep.
Okay. Are you guys ready for finance review or any questions?
I think that's where we are.
Oh, okay.
Question.
I think, Amy, we did
Um,
have a meeting yesterday with Nokomis and I. And there were a few questions.
Yesterday or Tuesday?
Or that was Monday.
Monday.
Did I say yesterday?
Yeah.
That was Monday. But I think Bianca and Chelsea weren't there, and so I don't know, did you want her to kind of go through it, or did you want to proceed? Any questions? You can answer. I know, Amy, there was a question. Emily from Osprey Wiles jumped on and on the cash flow projections where it's highlighted for the months of spending.
mhm.
Notice there was 28,130 in the parentheses for estimated accumulating cash balance. And she had questions. It was her belief that we were in the negative there. And so she wanted a little clarification
Okay.
on that. It's
Gotcha. No. And that's just, again, it's a projection. We're not in the negative. We are, it's obviously, it's a little low at this point. And if you look at um, the balance sheet that reflects that as well, where cash is showing 45,000. It's just a timing thing. But no, I mean, the cash is a little low right now, but it's not in the negative.
So what we want to do is we want to look at the actual and not just that particular expenditure.
Correct. Yeah, we kind of need to look at everything together.
I need a reminder when we look at payment numbers, it's supposed to go one by one by one by one, right? Like, but like 3523, 3524. Right?
She's on the bank and checks page.
Okay, let me pull that up.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Like there's supposed to be no gaps in the numbers, right?
I would look at payments. Well, let's see. I would look at more, the payment numbers can be a little bit. I would look at the check numbers instead. So the ones that don't have a check number, those are wires or ACH payments. If you look at like the second page, you'll see check numbers and those are in order. And that's just this specific report because it's set up to run by check number. I think we can do a different report that would run by payment number if we wanted to.
I'd be happy to go. I know you guys appreciate going over the vendor list and the payments. I can go over that. But I think since we have Amy on the line, do you have any questions on any of the other documents? I know she'd be really great and be able to help answer any questions there.
So like the check number goes 6005 and then it goes to 6012.
And is that I'm assuming, is that probably the checkbook that's at the district? I'm thinking at the school.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The longer numbers are the ones that SMS does offsite.
So we don't know where the other ones in between are?
I do have the checkbook. I can pull it out. We do have the carbon copy. Otherwise, it might have been just a skip and check and opening it up and just writing a check. So,
Are they written or printed?
the check numbers that are local are written.
What do you think, Bianca?
Well, because it could just be that somebody messed up a check and had to go to the next one.
Yeah, I know there's a few times when I wrote a check, I just opened it up and stuck the thing under and wrote it. And it might be that, but I do have the checkbook with the carbon copy and everything on where those checks. So it might have been a
Maybe if
check
there's like
from,
a skip, we could just write that number and put voiders. I don't know how, probably not, because it's a payment, right?
yeah, I probably, it could have been like processed last month or, you know. But that's part of the internal controls framework that's proposed in this agenda also, is to make sure we have more controls internally
Yeah, we
to
have to
address
trust
those.
that.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the finance report?
Expenditures for the after school programming, it sounds like there's a pretty robust amount of after school programming happening, and that's, I feel, is a good thing.
Well, that a lot of stuff, but they kind of just recently took out. You know, we were waiting for the donation money for the third party money to go through. It took a little while to hit, and then when it hit, then it just we kind of start spending in that for after school programming and different. Just knowing that we had it then, but we were always really careful and step softly when we know that if there's how much money is, so we kind of do that dance.
And
Like
there's
when-
like budgets in place
Yes,
for when
yes.
money is received.
Yes. So we're really, really good about that. And I like the comment that Nakoma said, you know, that, hey, just be more aware of the spending.
Any other comments or questions? Executive Director report.
All right, cool.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So just lately, we've been working on more cultural experiences. So we have a storyteller out there. I don't want to be out there, but we have a storyteller out there came up from Wisconsin and telling legends, and also works at the Wading Immersion School in Wisconsin. So community and cultural engagement, participated in community events, ceremonies, and cultural gatherings. I just want to really note that a lot of our kids don't know about a lot of the ceremonies that we do. We have a big sweat lodge in our on our grounds here, and a lot of the kids don't know anything about that. So we're trying to make these moves to where we're making them more aware of what we use those for. So I think that at one point the kids were playing with it like it was just a tent, and so just we have that there, and we really want to enforce that. So we're reaching out to community members and other ceremonial people to kind of come in and help us. And I believe too that one of our grades has a lot of they got a lot of fire, and we're working towards pointing out the direction. I don't know how you'd say that they're at that age where they the rites of passage, and we really want to try to get zeroed in on that and teach those responsibilities of becoming a young man and becoming a young woman, and what are the roles and responsibilities as Anishinaabe people. And so we have one class that's we really feel like needs it more than anything right now, because there's a kind of a lot of infighting between them, and so we're really strategizing ways to get through to them, and that's why we're focusing on different people that bring that cultural aspect to that, and then how do we get that. So so relationship building with elders, knowledge keepers, families, and tribal partners. we've been kind of working kind of far and close with Sherry Goodwin's program. They've been inviting us to different ceremonies and different things. So in that regard, trying to strengthen that relationship and continue building community trust for the school. Visionary leadership in Indigenous education development, long-term planning for Indian education programming, development of new initiatives. I'm working with the head of school and admin and programming that is aligned with the immersion expansion of cultural knowledge. So as everybody knows, we're only really going hard on our kindergarten and first grade, but it's a limited amount of teachers that we have out there. And being able to find teachers, that will always be an uphill challenge. Do we have everybody on this?
I just want to make, Nicole, Miss, are you still there?
Yeah, I had to leave and come back, but I'm back. And did you hear about the BSU program now for the teacher training program?
Yeah, blessing. For sure. So organize a culture climate, efforts to maintain a healthy, respectful, culturally grounded workplace. And strategic partners, our engagement with our authorizer, tribal governments, cultural organizations, and funders, advocacy for Indigenous education and regional and state levels, public facing leadership on behalf of the school. I do want to note, just as a side note, that Sylvia and his son was in a car accident. So I haven't been to the last couple of tribal council meetings. It was the first council meeting that I missed was the day our son, was the day before, that day before our son got in an accident. He got in an accident at 3 a.m. and broke 7 vertebrae. And so he has to wear a body cast and shower chair, wheelchair, walker for a little while there, but he's progressively getting better. He's 22 years old, so he's kind of healing fast. So I just came, that's why I'm late. I was at an occupational therapy meeting with him. So he goes to occupational therapy, physical therapy, and it's definitely been challenging for on our family. So I do want to note that, and then just doctor's appointments and different things. So the last meeting that I missed was a doctor's appointment. So I've missed 2 tribal council meetings, but I'll be at the next one for sure. To keep the tribe in coherent to what's happening here. And but I do want to make that as a note and my reasons why. And I think that's it for my report. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Me?
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
So I have quite a few. I'll try to go through them quickly. We have 98 current
Is
students
this a
enrolled.
copy of what you have?
Yes, that's a copy. And 98 students currently. We have open enrollment. We take applications all year round. Some of our classes are capped, but we do have spots available for most of our grades. We completed our STAR testing. In response, we have analyzed this data. We attached it here in the little packet. It goes through each grade level and kind of where the results, the PR distribution summary shows where each of our students or however many students are and where they are in the percentile. And so based on these results, a lot of our students are performing below level. And so we're working really hard to get intervention services in place and supports with our title services and additional staff support, which also leans over into our after school programming, developing some supports there. It's still in the planning phase on what that looks like, kind of the trial and error phase in after school programming for the academic support. But that's something we are focusing on also outside of school hours. So those results are in here all the way through each class for both reading and math. Our child study team, they meet monthly, and the purpose of that is to review any of the student interventions, data, or identify need
in classrooms for students, and if they need to proceed into evaluation or other assessments to determine if they need additional support, whether it's academic, behavior, or any additional in the special education services area. Website compliance, we've reached website compliance. Max, our consultant, has been working really hard with our admin team, Rochelle and Jola, and making sure we are in compliance. All that information is posted on the website that is required by state statute. And then rolling on into our social media presence. We've slowly been activating those accounts and, gaining more of our community, school community parents on there so we can continue to just get information and notifications out and kind of working on making sure our parents are active in our development and the mission and driven work of the school.
What's Max's last name?
Thom, Thom. Making up names here. Thom. After school programming clubs, right now we currently have boxing, science with the Science Museum, drum and singing, and arts and crafts. I know there's other things we're planning on getting developed and offering to our students. We have kind of a small enrollment. I think our top enrollment was about 15 or so, anywhere from 8 to 15. So we're hoping to get more notification out, more students to sign up. Actually, it increased now. We actually have skiing, cross-country skiing. She has, I think, 10.
Mm-hmm.
She
Yeah,
has 10.
they're 22 kids.
Yeah, so 22, so slowly growing.
There was a statement that they made, the after school programming that we can include community. So if we could get that out there too, because our program can be open to community, like kids in the community.
Yeah, we're planning another basketball camp with Grace White, George Hill III, and Drew Parker. And so we're hoping to do that this coming weekend to do a basketball camp. So they're working on flyer logistics and making sure we get that out. And that would be open to the community similar to the summer this weekend. And so we're Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So we'll have notifications out for that soon. And then family nights, this is our only family night this month. A lot's been going on this month, like Nate said, personal, kind of what we've been going through. But a lot of our focus have been kind of during school hours with our staff and with our students, getting our e-learning prepared in the event we have to cancel school. The school district currently does not do e-learning days. They just extend the year. And we sent out notification at the beginning of the year to families that we are opting to do e-learning in the event of school cancellation due to weather. So we've been preparing for that. All of our teachers are fully prepared if we need to cancel at any time. Our instructional calendar, we've been working with, again, our school to family communication. I attached a copy of our report cards. We're doing report cards this year. So there's one for upper grades, one for lower grades, very similar. The grading system is right now the A through E for 1 through 4. But we're working to indigenize it and modify it as we continue to grow. But that I put a copy in there for y'all to look at. We had our first parent-teacher conference was in November. The next one, the quarter 2, will end January 16th. So we'll be doing report cards, parent-teacher conference again, I believe. Maybe. Have to double check the calendar on that one. Our professional development, we are committed to strengthening our instruction, developing PD sessions tailored to teacher growth, building confidence in the classroom, building successful teachers. Again, we're really focusing on academics and data-driven work and being informed and helping just for us to grow in those areas based on data. So we're really focusing on that this year and ensuring that every student have access to high quality education that is focused with language and culture still. So.
No, we're gonna talk about it. I just want to add a real quick mean, that's really relevant to that, as they're moving into Rosetta Stone. That's something that they, okay, okay, cool.
So so part of our contract, and part of our discrepancy letter that came through Osprey Wilds was our wellness wheel assessment and, our Ojibwe language. I think I talked about this a few times on, a few different board meetings on how we're working to develop, an assessment tool that works with our school and how we can capture that data and how we can capture those or create those assessments that are aligned with what we do here. Been challenging. We've tried a few things. In our discrepancy letter, our authorizer wants more details on what that's going to look like. So we're implementing our pre wellness wheel assessment tool that we're pushing through this week to our kids. So in there, I put a couple examples, one from our younger grade. I think this one is a first grader where they were able to draw, and then a seventh grader did their wellness wheel assessment. So I put examples in there and it just kind of shows where they are physically in the community, emotionally and intellectually, what their goals are. They establish goals for themselves and then they graph it on where they feel they are and how full their cup, their wellness cup is in those different quadrants. So we did a kind of a really brief cultural teaching on medicine wheel, direction, seasons, and then those four components and what they could mean. In this particular situation, we're using this assessment tool modeled by NACA, Native American Community Academy in Albuquerque, our partnering school. And so we're pushing this out for our kids. This will be the pre and we'll do a post. And this will serve as our wellness assessment for authorizers. But it'll also give us a good opportunity to see where our kids are and how we can continue to meet and help them with their goals in providing programming here at the school that meets wellness, you know, through language and culture. And then the Ojibwe language piece, Rosetta Stone has a robust language learning platform. And within that, they developed a scope and sequence. And so the scope and sequence level 1, 2, and 3, we're going to start working on, and we're going to use this as our language measuring tool for growth. So the first lesson, the scope and sequence, and part of language learning and growth is through social context. So a lot of that is applicable, and actually, and most important is what are you doing in your community? What are you doing? How are you using the language? Well, it's with their family, it's morning routines, it's getting dressed, it's rising, it's so all of these themes are in Rosetta Stone, and there's a scope and sequence for each teacher already built out. So we've decided we're gonna venture down the Rosetta Stone that Mabak's worked on with a lot of great language speakers and teachers, and we're gonna use this as our Ojibwe language assessment tool. So we'll be implementing our pre-test that's based off this scope and sequence for level 1. And it's quite extensive, the programming. So we're going to see what that's going to look like for our younger grades and then some of our older grades on what that assessment. The good thing, what it would look like. So the good thing about Rosetta Stone is there's assessments built in for each student. So each student and teacher will have access to this platform. We are also implement across all staff to implement and get signed up on their language journey, learning journey too. So the hope is that we're all learning together and we're going to increase Ojibwe language in the school. I've heard great things about Rosetta Stone and we have great partners. We're really close with a lot of the developers and they're available for support and stuff. So we're super excited about that. So hopefully we'll have more Ojibwe. You'll hear more Ojibwe in our meetings. You'll see it even more when you come on into campus. And so we're super excited about that. And I think that's all I have.
Well, I just wanted to add one more thing too with the morning ceremony we were noticing. So tightening up on our cultural dealings is the morning ceremony. We're kind of losing the attention of kids and they were running around. We all gather in the main room. So we wanted to tighten it up and we told teachers that they have to do it in the classroom until we can get on a level where everybody has more respect for what's happening, you know, respecting the drum, whether it's well, they're doing the prayer or whether they're doing, you know, so just a little more tightening it up on that level. And then I think that's also where the wellness wheel came into play, is to actually see where these kids are on that level.
Oh, did I forget a page? I see you looking at a page. I forgot something.
I figured that this was something else.
Oh, okay.
that
No,
Osprey
that's
knows.
Erie. That is Osprey Wild. So
Part of your
Erie is
packet,
part of our, yep, it's part of our reporting. And part of one of our goals is to be on time in our submissions of everything that is required. And so that's just kind of showcasing where we've been at 100% late to now we're making improvements with the help of Rochelle and Jola, really making sure we get that in. We sent over a plan to them on how we're going to be on time and who's designated to do that, and make sure it's on. So we're about halfway there. So it's a huge success, and we're working to be at the 100% on time. We do get them kicked back quite a bit, but we send them right back with the revision. So
Who is designated to do that?
Jola. So between Rochelle and myself, getting the information to her and what's needed. For example, like board meeting minutes, board agenda, the packet, the financials, you know, those all have to be submitted. So we send them over to her and she's responsible to submit that into Aries.
And Aries, this program?
Aries, that program, yep.
If I could interject too,
Yep.
there's really two submissions. One is for Aries. These are all the monthly requirements that we do because we're in deficiency, very heavily monitored. They take a look at everything that we submit. If they want a correction, they kick it back and we correct it and send it in. But there's also things that the school has to do to meet the deficiency. And I would let the board know that even when we are in full compliance, when we meet full compliance, everything that we have is in. When we meet full compliance, the school will maintain a deficiency rating for 1 year from when we are in full compliance. And will continue to be monitored at the moment.
Any other questions or comments for the head of school? And we don't have a parent committee member.
No, I don't think the meeting was held this month.
And then I saw,
Is she here?
no, she was outside.
Oh,
She
okay.
went-
She's probably here for the.
I
oh,
asked
so
if she was going and she's like, no, I'm sorry. It's okay.
But, I would let the board know that I did look up the APAC requirements and things that are due and when they're due, and I provided that to Dan to share with the APAC committee what's due, when it's due, and like for example, in March we need to have our next some of our next funding stuff in order and ready to be submitted. So to the state, so I did let APAC committee member. I shared all that with them. So.
Thank you, Rochelle. Now we're going into new business. New business A, we need a motion to approve the working board minutes of November 19th.
I make a motion.
Make sure I looked at the right ones, because there was a couple of, there was October in here too, right?
The October under old businesses, they're tabled from last committee. So those are at the, towards the back. Everything in your packet is in order of the agenda. So I'm trying to get.
So we need a second before we discuss it.
Do you guys want to play the food? I can go grab you guys some food. This one.
I can do it. I can do it. Let me get you guys some food.
I can help
You
you.
look at that.
If it's a lot, should we recess? We could just.
Oh, no, we'll go grab it. We'll let you guys.
You look
know.
at that, man. You look at that, man. You hungry?
Can we get a second from the?
Did you?
A motion, yeah, and then we can look at it to see what we got.
And I'll second.
Thank you. I wasn't here, so I guess I don't really know what I'm looking at. It looks good.
Yeah, there wasn't really,
It says discussion on all items on the regular agenda were discussed, no questions asked. So, does it look good?
Do you have any questions?
Oh, I guess she wasn't there at that meeting either.
Oh, yeah, we're both confused. Do you have any questions in regarding to that meeting?
Not for the working board minutes.
Okay. All in favor?
Yes, I. What?
She's on mute.
You're on mute still.
Quick thumbs up.
Oh, she's driving.
Oh, what?
Yeah, mute.
We're just voting.
Oh, yeah, I said yeah. Sorry.
And then
Such a long.
new business just walking to the back. No, it's fine. New business B, motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of November 19th, 2025.
So I'll make a motion.
No, second.
I would really take a look at those. I didn't really have a lot to go on when I did those minutes, so I believe that's emotions and, seconded.
Discussion, I would just ask that Nokomis wasn't there, so on agenda approval, she didn't vote. She was excused.
Okay, good. Okay. I'll make that correction.
And then just to change the wording in the old business discussion, I don't remember it being about bad mouthing the school. It was discussion on the personal extent between Nate and then unnamed, other employees.
You want me to add to Chickling?
Just that third sentence.
So if anybody would want any clarity on that, I went back and reviewed all of that today, give them some clarity on that. On that restraining order and why it's written the way it is.
Why the restraining order is written the way it is?
So, when you look at the original request to the courts for it, it did state that, it was on behalf of staff who, like you said, like have those concerns, all of that, the Endazhi school, and it has all of that. And then the restraining order was issued on May 25th, 2025, or yeah, all the way through May of 2026. And the reason that it has, the restraining order itself has the words Endazhi and then in parentheses Nate, because he was the one who was doing the restraining order on behalf of the school. We took it to legal. This went in front of legal. And legal did send a response saying that, because then there was, the board said that it was an illegal restraining
Just
order.
one moment. Nokomis, can you hear her or should I move this over so you can hear?
I can step up. Okay, so the legal, there was conversation that anytime that the school, because Nate filed the restraining order on behalf of the school. And there was a response that that the school didn't have the right to do a restraining order for people, that only the board could authorize the restraining order. Legal sent a response to the former board chair that that was not correct, that anybody within the school could file a restraining order if they felt fear, or somebody could apply or, apply for a restraining order on behalf of those people if they felt that they didn't want to, and that it did not require board approval. So I just wanted to clarify that the original restraining order, the letter to the court, was on behalf of staff at the at Endazhi. So that's why the restraining order says Endazhi-Nitaawiging and in parentheses Nate, because he's the one who filed on behalf of staff within the school.
I think that just restricts students from attending Endazhi, and then it doesn't protect anyone when they're not at the school. So I just think that is clever at all.
Yeah, well, it was, the other thing that I would add is that the school doesn't necessarily need to go to the courts for a restraining order. The head of school, the executive director, can issue a no trespass for good cause. They took that extra step because of the community kind of stuff like that, and that it was an extra protective step for the staff. So that's the way they went. And court
Community, like there was a community meeting or?
No, it was on behalf of the staff because they were also getting like calls outside of the school. So like that, so they took the extra.
But that's the part that I don't understand. So if it's just protecting the school, then when they leave, it doesn't protect them when they step off the property.
Well, the restraining order says that not to contact or go near or do those things. So that was part of the restraining order. And the school, yeah. And that not just Nate in the school, because the restraining order was issued, and if you look at the original complaint, was for those staff who felt that they were harassed. So the school meaning not just the physical, yeah, not just the physical presence, but also the personnel, the employees of. Okay, I hope that helps. Okay. No, it only applies while at school. So like that person cannot come onto campus or school grounds. But the reason that they're going for an extension is because even at school, that some of the employees were getting phone calls. So it kind of continued is the reason that they're putting for an extension. So, okay. Okay, so I hope that helps. But I can add that I'll change the minutes to reflect that third point.
Okay, so we had a motion to approve the working board minutes of, motion to approve regular board meeting minutes of November 19th, 2025. We got a motion and a second. Discussion was to amend the agenda approval since Nokomis was excused. She did not vote in favor of that.
Okay.
And then also, to change the wording in old business regarding the discussion on past legal issue regarding a past restraining order, as some of the verbiage was not mentioned.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't, who's gonna be typing these minutes?
Okay.
Okay, can we just, for today's minutes, I just wanted on record that, my stance is this is an abuse of authority. New business C, motion to approve the 2024-2025 Endazhi-Nitaawiging school audit as presented. And was that just what?
What they
The-
presented, yeah.
I make a motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I would just request that, the board receive a copy of the audit.
Once they have board approval, then, we requested a copy for each board member and one to keep on site for the main office.
I think we have a motion and a second to approve the 2024-2025 Endazhi-Nitaawiging school audit as presented. Those in favor?
Aye.
New business D, motion to approve the finance report as presented. I'll motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the finance report as presented. Any discussion? Questions, comments? Those in favor? Aye. New business E, motion to open nominations for treasurer.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
So here, if you want to call for nominations, and then you call for nominations 3 times.
3 times.
Are there any nominations? Are there 3 times? Yeah.
Are there any nominations? Like just all in a row?
So somebody needs to nominate. I know Vicky wanted to nominate, Nicolas.
Okay. Are there any nominations? Do you have a nomination?
I nominate Nokomis.
I also nominate.
And then I guess as Nicole said, she would accept those nominations.
Do we have to close it first?
Well, you called for 3 nominations, and so then she's been nominated, so you can ask her if she would accept, because if she didn't accept, then we'd have to do something different.
Okay. Do you accept the nomination, Nicole? Yes. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, new business. When did you vote, Nicole? I'm guessing, yes.
I didn't think I could vote. Yeah,
She accepts it.
New business F, motion to close nominations for treasurer. All motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to close nominations. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, new business G, motion to approve Nakomis Pays as treasurer of the school board. All motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
New business H, motion to approve the probationary period extension for the head of school until January 30, 2026.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the probationary period extension for the head of school until January 30, 2026. Any discussion? Did Vicky give an explanation?
She wanted to wait until you had received an audit report, and then she wants to meet with our authorizers to discuss where we are in our deficiency report and submissions.
Have we been set with the authorizers?
We, the administration are meeting with our authorizer tomorrow to review all of that, and then we'll have a status report update.
There's a few items due December 31st, so.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? We have a motion and a second to approve the probationary period extension for the head of school until January 30th, 2026. All in favor?
Aye.
And then I'm gonna vote no. But it still passes.
Okay, then if you vote no, then you need to do roll call vote. I mean, we've already pretty much done it, right? So that it goes on the record.
Okay. Motion to approve probationary period extension for the head of school until January 30, 2026. Motion by Chelsea, second by Nokomis. Chelsea Jordan,
Yes.
Nokomis Pays.
Yes.
Bianca Mendoza, no. And then Leslie Bellinger is excused. Victoria Fine-Day is excused.
Okay.
And then new business I, oh, well, it passes. Motion to create a petty cash fund not to exceed $2,500. And I'll motion.
Was there a reason it was 2,500?
I think it was due to smaller donations that were being received and they wanted to put that into the petty cash fund.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to create a petty cash fund not to exceed $2,500. All in favor?
Was there a discussion?
Huh?
Was there a discussion?
That was the discussion.
Oh, okay, I just have one thing I wanted to add in discussion before I do that, if it's okay, Sylvia.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, that, if the board approves this, then I'll create a petty cash fund policy, and we'll take that in front of the policy committee, and then that actual policy will need to be approved. Okay. So that'll be on the next board agenda to approve of the petty cash policy.
Back to voting, all in favor of to create a petty cash fund not to exceed $2,500. Aye. New business J, motion to accept the donation from the Minneapolis Foundation in the amount of $2,000 to be used as annual support. And I'll motion.
I'll second.
We have a second, or a motion and a second to accept the donation from the Minneapolis Foundation in the amount of $2,000 to be used as annual support. Though, any concerns, questions, comments? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. New business K, motion to accept the donation from the Orville Mennonite Church in the amount of $300. I'll motion.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the donation from the Orville Mennonite Church in the amount of $300. Any concerns, comments, questions?
I don't see that. I didn't get a copy of the check. Nate had it on there. I didn't get to see him in time to get a copy of it.
Was it
But
already?
it is an actual check for $200. You remember, right, this was the group that came during the summer, the church group that came during the summer, and they met with me and wanted to do a consultation.
Has that already been deposited?
No, it has not.
I think the only thing I would say is to include that it also, what it's used for, just annual support.
Okay, yes.
And then I trust that you've seen the check. So motion to accept the donation from the Orville Mennonite Church in the amount of $300 to include use as annual support. Do we have to re-motion that since we changed it? I'll motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the donation from the Orville Mennonite Church in the amount of $300 to use as annual support. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
New business I, motion to approve the grant award from the Growing Justice Fund in the amount of $225,000.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the grant award from the Growing Justice Fund in the amount of $225,000. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
When was that gonna be implemented?
So as soon as we get the okay with Burnell to accept that grant, it would be sent over to the tribe, and then we would work with the tribe to determine if it's going to be a check or a ACH. And so it'd be after the new year. So it kind of depends on that timing.
So then that programming will start this year?
After the new year, yes, it'll be this year.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor to approve the grant award from the Growing Justice Fund in the amount of $225,000? Say aye. New business M, motion to approve the internal control framework as presented.
We did not vote on that one. You didn't vote on that one. Yes.
I was a guest.
What is that?
Let me do a motion and discussion.
I'll make a motion.
You have a copy of it?
No.
It should be a copy on the folder. So.
Maybe there's one in here.
Oh, I don't have that.
It's just pulled over the person. It should be one.
I got it.
So I make a motion.
Have you gotten a chance to look it over, no comments? No, she just motioned. I'll second. Questions, comments, concerns to approve the internal control framework as presented?
So I'll go over it a little bit. The internal control framework is kind of that we talked a lot about, and it came up in the audit, the gift cards and kind of processing and documentation. So this is a framework that ensures that there's a process for each purchase, and then there's approval by not just one staff or head of school, but it would go through designated administrative staff. Then our finance staff, SMS, does do our invoice processing and final reporting. So another concern or thing that came up in our discrepancy was contract versus contract and worker classifications and what that means. So that breaks it down into all contracts must be reviewed prior to execution, and then what it should include. So mission, school's mission within budget, in compliance with procurement or grant requirements, and then the approval process of that. And then documentation of records, making sure we have all that on file, any reimbursements, records, are retained per state and federal requirements, securely stored, and supports any audits, grant monitoring, and compliance. So these are the different areas and hit some of those internal control.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns to approve the internal control framework as presented? Calling for a vote, all in favor? Aye.
So we already have this is the policy or?
There's no policy. There's no policy. This is the framework. There's
So
no
this is the framework, but then the next meeting, we're gonna develop a policy. That's what we're now. Right.
Just text me.
This is a.
So Rachel, what we're saying is like, we need to do a purchase or order, then there's gotta be a pre-approval. We've got we're developing pre-approval form. And then the quote or the invoice has to come with it. Like if you're gonna order supplies from Amazon, you need to give us that quote that goes in front of either probably Joel or I. And then we'll make sure, Joel and I just wanna make sure that there's a pre-approval form, that there's an invoice attached, and then we send it to Sylvia for approval. Then that goes on to our payroll, and then that gets paid through payroll. And that way we're gonna eliminate a lot of reimbursement, so people just start ordering and then they put in for reimbursement. All of it has to be pre-approved. There's forms we're gonna be using, and then payroll will issue those payments. So, they did also recommend that instead of a debit card, that we apply for a credit card, because credit cards have all that documentation. So Sylvia's in the process of going through our bank and requesting a credit card. We are not in business long enough to have credit with the bank, like a line of credit, but we can get a credit card. So we'll switch over from debit to credit card. And we've already approved that credit card policy. And then as far as like, when we contract, one of the things that we have to do if we're gonna contract, then we need to make sure that their documentation, we've got a written contract that's signed and W-9 is in place before we, then what happens then is our accounting also, if we can get that stuff ahead of time, then our accounting will issue the payment and we won't be writing personal checks. You should see way less checks written by Sylvia to somebody. So we're asking people to be responsible, like for example, our guest speaker, we knew that our storyteller was coming. The contract for that person should have been sent, our W-9 should have been sent, and then our payroll pays that, and Sylvia won't be writing a check, right? Because we should always have two sets of eyes on that. So we're putting those processes in place. And the other thing that has to happen, according to our authorizers, is that when we're going to move people, like if they're gonna change positions, things like that, that we will always, and we always consult, we say to to Amy, you know, who does our financing, we'd like to shift this over, do we have it? Do we have it in our finance? So we're always getting financial approval before we just start shifting people and offering contracts, things like that. So we always will do a consultation with finances before we do that. So you should be seeing far less reimbursements. You should be seeing far less personal checks being written, or personal gift cards. Got that one down. But so, and there's also a pre-approval process and two sets of eyes on payments that are going on.
So we're,
Basically the paper trail for every dollar that's being spent.
Yeah.
we're approving the framework. So was this followed in getting Hannah, or what, does this get followed after, or when was this meeting?
So we met, we knew at the last meeting, you know, Bianca raised some questions, you know, do we have pre-approval,
Yeah.
the use of all this kind of stuff, and then also our authorizers as part of our financial things we have to correct in our financials, so that was done. We met with our school management services, our finance team, and we came up with this process, and so we need to submit this framework to our authorizers before December 31st, when it's on the agenda. So we met to develop it, reviewed it with our finance, and taking it to the board for approval, and then we'll submit this to our authorizers.
I think the personnel part is missing. Let me go check what it is.
And it says records are securely stored. Where is that?
With finance, and then I have it on my computer.
On your computer?
Yeah, and our finance has that.
Like a
That's why my
protected hard drive.
computer, my office is always.
Like a protected hard drive? Or like receipts?
Right, so, the other thing is that when there is a receipt comes forward, Sylvia takes a picture of it or puts it in a folder, and a lot of it's lost where we're missing so many receipts in our audit, and from this point on, that when we have, Joel and I will look, we'll make sure that there's an invoice that accompanies that. And then once our payroll pays for that, they'll automatically get the receipt for that, so payroll will have our receipts, and that won't just be Sylvia to keep receipts.
Well, there'll be like, hard copy documentation,
Yes,
like
yes.
stored in like a fire safe.
Yes, yes, so, yeah, that'll be part of it, and it's not just gonna be on Sylvia's phone or in a folder or something like that, so. The minute that she receives a receipt, that gets sent to our payroll immediately, and they'll have the copies of those receipts. So that's where the main record will be for purchases and use.
I just needed that. Verify.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns to approve the internal control framework as presented?
She said she was gonna give the, for this, she's missing a personnel thing.
The personnel piece that she's looking for is what we just talked about, where we make sure that she's going to make sure that administration consults with finance, and just putting in writing, we already do it, just to make sure that we have. Or
Was
we
it
consult with
the-
finance before we start up in contracts or giving people.
They cut off the back page.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't look.
I didn't even know what it looked like.
Yeah, it cut off that back page.
See, something seemed, yeah. Okay, I got a full sheet here.
So yeah, so it talks about, yep, employees versus independent contractor reimbursement processes and personnel change approval. Budget alignment.
Well,
It's like, what's that? So secret.
we read both or we add all that in?
Since it's a, Nokomis, can
Make a week, oh, sorry.
I don't know if you can even read any of that.
I can, yeah. And I didn't have the little wheel either that I thought that would have been
Oh, it wasn't attached?
the wellness wheel. Yeah, that was an impact.
Do you have it on your computer so that you can send to?
Yeah, I can probably email it to.
We'll get it emailed to you, I promise.
Do we revote? After that, or?
We did. Oh, yeah, we were on comments and discussion. We attempted a vote, but
Yeah, then I stopped, I
Yeah.
just didn't. I'm glad we don't think the sheet.
Is your payroll run with your accounts payable people? Are they the same?
So, Amy, School Management Services is our financial entity that we do for our record keeping and our finance keeping and stuff. And then Amy is assigned to us, their School Management Services employee. Amy is assigned to us as our business manager, and Mary Krantz is our AP and our AR, accounts receivable, accounts payable.
Okay, just emailed. It was emailed, you should receive it soon.
Misspelled family day. Okay, was there any more for you? You know, Score management.
Is that the biggest turnout?
Last, our Halloween, it's always our holidays. Halloween was 150.
Should we
Well,
vote?
we prepared for 150. It's pretty much.
Did you receive it, Nicole?
Yeah, I looked it over real quick.
Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Not that I
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the internal control framework as presented with the additional page. We have a motion by Chelsea, a second by Bianca. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're moving on to old business. Old business A, motion to approve the working board minutes of October 15th, 2025.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Does this go with the internal control?
No, what I showed her that was, where in our bylaws, I outlined that the board has the authority to give the director to administer a petty cash fund. This says which the board is, so that was
Oh,
the
so that
petty
goes
cash.
with the
That was a petty cash.
Okay, so I was just,
Okay.
sorry, these weren't in order. So that was a motion by Chelsea.
Yep, and then second by Nokomis.
And we have a motion and a second to approve the working board minutes of October 15th, 2025. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Yep, that's why, because it wasn't updated. I was there and I'm marked as excused. I was on Zoom.
On the minutes.
That's why we didn't vote on it last time.
Oh, okay. So,
With the revision.
Mhm.
oh, okay, so from all, it was in the packet, where did it go? So, okay.
This one's fixed.
Okay. Okay, so the working board?
Mhm.
Okay, I'll correct it. You were present.
I might have come in like.
I think we
5
were
minutes
late. I think we were
It was
both
like,
late, yeah.
Oh,
it was like a few
that's-
minutes late. I had just missed the mission and vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I don't want to table that one again, though. Can we just say with a revision?
With revision, yeah.
Okay. Is that okay with her? A motion to approve the working board minutes of October 15th, 2025 with a revision to mark Bianca Mentos as present. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I'm gonna motion.
I'll second.
Oh, what did I do? I didn't have it. It's my bad. Now
Was that
questions,
voting?
comments, or concerns? Okay. And all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We'll just move forward with that because I think we put that off last time too. Old business B, motion to approve the regular board minutes of October 15th, 2025.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Who are we ready?
Sorry, it's probably just delayed for you. Sorry. Questions, comments, or concerns? We have a motion and a second to approve the regular board minutes of October 15th, 2025. All in favor? Aye.
You say aye?
Did you? You're on mute. Yeah, okay. Okay. Motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:13 PM. A motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn at 7:13. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you guys. Safe travels and sweat. It's supposed to be really bad towards the cities. Windy, huh?
I think they're getting us, somebody said they're getting like an ice storm towards Wisconsin area.
Yeah, we're getting some up here with the wind, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
When do we find out? When we do the e-learning?
Early in the morning.
You can take that call too, right? Since we're all set.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding.
These are all late.
Jeff did that and they let them cancel carryout.
Oh.
Staying on behind that.
All right, ending the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.